Good morning. It is a really outstanding morning here, and this is actually my second uh, second approach to do the live stream today because something went wrong with the technical side. I'm still in the process of figuring out, also still in the process of expressing myself and thinking out loud. So remember, these are just live streams, and it is just me thinking out loud about what I'm developing right now to give you the highest possible value that I can. And today's topic will be a little bit strange in a way, but it is based on a conversation that I had yesterday with an artist, because right now I am standing here in the middle of paradise and talking about the future of your art, and everything sounds so positive. But on the other hand, there are artists out there, and I am not different, and I have been in such a part of my life where not everything is sunshine actually, and you feel a little more the darkness in you. And the conversation I had yesterday, it was with a artist that is actually more on the side of worrying a lot, don't see so much brightness in his artistic future. And so I decided actually to talk a little bit about this. The ideas that I have are not formulated right now, so just stick with me and just take away what you like about the things that I'm saying, because I think that in this darkness there's a great opportunity that you can use for yourself. And I know it is easy to talk about the dark side of us when you are in such a position that I am right now, with the distance of such a beautiful surrounding, and I'm here in Thailand writing about a book that it is helping artists to gain a better future. And it is coming everything together, and I'm progressing, and this is a very positive experience. And perhaps it feels a little bit disconnected to people who are actually not on the bright side of the world, or they are feeling more like being in the shadows. And actually what I'm trying here to do is not to just talk to the people that have also a feeling, not only the positive feelings about artistic future and about progress. I am trying also to put the things together for the people that are actually feeling more also on the dark side, and they are trying to find a way of the darkness. And for them, this is also here, and you can go to the website www.future.louvre.academy, and I am putting everything together to reach out to every artist in whatever position he or she is, especially when things are not looking bright to you. And today I'm choosing a topic that is a little bit difficult to talk about, more the shadow side of progression as an artist, and that in times we are not our best friend, not our best support to progress with our art, and there's something in us that is trying to prevent us from this development, that is actually holding us back, that they don't want this change, and it is painting a black picture of our future. And what will try today to express is actually that you can use this as an opportunity, that you can find actually energy and motivation in this darkness. It is the same like in the jungle. You can when you are walking through the jungle, I mean, in the same way, your artistic jungle you are right now, you can fear the darkness and the shadows, but you can also use this darkness and the shadows to your own advantage. And there are possibilities to use this darkness, and the artistic world, the artistic art history is full of artists who understood how to use the darker side to actually let their own art thrive. There are artists that actually dwelled in this darkness, and their art developed on this and prosper on this. So there is not such a division between light and dark and what is good, what is evil. Actually, in art, you can use every form of energy. You can just say to yourself, there is not no such thing as negative energy or positive energy, and we should go and if we can, we should stick with the light side, and the only future is there. No, actually you can use everything. And when you are a person that has this negative tendency, so just by accepting it, you can start to use this. And today we will talk about this opportunity that is actually in the darkness, and one outstanding example how you can actually use this. You can use this to develop the heritage of your art. You can use this as actually use the fear of change to change actually. So we will think today about the future that you are worrying about, or a future that you should avoid, and by actually fearing it or describing it in the darkest possible version, you are developing a motivation that will give you the energy to every day to move, to do the things that are necessary. So we will start perhaps first to just thinking about what you are fearing or what is negative to you, what perhaps bad decisions you have already made in your art and you are still in regret, or you are still in worry. These are all thoughts that we are always trying to actually avoid. But when we are inviting these thoughts, we can find a way how we can actually use this. So when you are thinking about your past, I know this is discomfortable to think about it. There have been decisions that you have made that were not good for the development of your art, that were actually have been a negative input into your artistic development. So when you are thinking about them and not trying to avoid them, you can learn from this. And actually, this is one of the easiest steps when you are not trying to avoid the negative developments, but you are actually remembering them and accepting them. The fact that you can learn from this is actually something that is positive, that when you are, okay, you have made these mistakes or you have made these bad decisions, but nevertheless, you are now wiser because of this, and these experiences that you have made are actually your experiences, your own wisdom, and this is completely something else like having the wisdom just from books, because this was something that you have done, you have felt it, and now you are more motivated to stay out of it or make other decisions or make preparations that will perhaps bring you other outcomes. Because by ignoring it and pushing it aside, what you will most likely do is just to repeat the same mistake over and over again. And this would be actually what you describe as insanity. When you are trying to do the same thing and expecting a different outcome, it is really insanity. And in such circle, some of the artists I know are stuck in. So by accepting negative things and allowing to learn from these negative things, you are breaking out of the circle, of this cage, and you are opening to a possibility for a better future instantly by using the darkness in a way. So when you look on your own experiences, or you are looking at the experiences of other artists, and you are accepting the negative outcomes, the negative feelings, the negative developments, you can actually put together a list or a description what you are fearing the most or what you are worrying the most, and describing this shadow, defining this shadow, is making it to a clear factor to avoid. So the devil is the worst when we don't know him, and by describing this negativity, these shadows, they are becoming a real factor. They are just one of the factors then, and not something that is lurking around and that is taking away your focus, because you never know when it will strike again. No, the more described it is, the more clearer it becomes, the more you know of what kind of path you should stay away, because most likely this is happening, or this has happened to you or to others when they are heading towards this path. And by just knowing, okay, we are now having a danger zone and I will try to stay away from this danger zone, you are actually starting to exclude things that are just not working out for you artistic development. And by excluding something, when you are closing one door, other doors are opening, and behind them perhaps there will be a shadow again, but you are giving it a chance that it is not the same shadow, that there is a change, that there will be a different outcome. And in this way you are actually developing a more clearer path to a possible future, because now you can make decisions in which the worrying or the feeling of a dark future and these feelings that it's worthless to try are not so powerful anymore, because now it is something new and you can just project your negativity on this new. But nevertheless, there's just the need of a little bit of willingness to try it out and to find out if on this new path, if there is this danger zone again or not. And when you are heading this new path and you are discovering, oh, this feels like the danger zone again, then you can choose another path. So it is a path of exclusion, because you are now knowing the shadows, you are now knowing the darkness, you are now knowing from which parts of your development you should stay away. And this is giving you a chance. It is this part is not easy, but nevertheless, by using negativity, by accepting it, defining it, you are giving yourself a chance. So when you are not a person who is just skipping towards the bright future, you can become a explorer of the darkness, and you can define in which path is this darkness collected, and you can just be like someone that is just exploring areas where the shadows are less dark, and in this way you can navigate you towards a future that is perhaps not one of the brightest futures, but nevertheless you are moving ahead. So it's a different approach, but it is an approach that is working for many of the artists. And in time you can also discover how to use even your worst fears, how you can manifest them in your art. And by manifesting them in your art, you are actually, so to say, to stay mysterious, you are banning them, because now they are captured on the canvas or in drawings and so on. And this is also providing you, in a way, inspiration and content for your art. And you will find out that you are not the only person who is driven by this negativity, and what you have captured in there will be recognized by other people that are seeing in the same way, and you have a community, you have an audience. So the wishing of a positive future is a valid need of you. But nevertheless, should you discover that you are right now in a phase of life, because most likely it is a phase, that the darkness is something that is more present, you can just use this as raw material for your own art. And when you think about it, you can actually allow this highest negative impact to give you motivation to stay away from it. Many artists, like the artist I was talking to yesterday, are always trying to push it aside. So this negative feeling, this worrying about the future, this feeling of hopelessness and the negative things that might happen, they are just trying to ignore it. But I want to invite you to try a different approach, to actually let all the darkness in at once and package it in a way that will really motivate you to go through the daily tasks, the daily grind that is necessary to go ahead with you with your art to nevertheless a better artistic future. So how can you use this highest impact of negative thinking for your own motivation? In a way, it's easy. It is a projection that you are making about your worst fears. It is really the possibility that you should give yourself to sit down and really paint the darkest picture of your own development in, let's say, 2 or 4 years. So what would happen if you would do nothing about your art and your worst worries would become reality? You are developing like a script for a movie. And in this way, you are developing the darkest possible future you can imagine. And I know artists can imagine a lot, that you should have nevertheless the feeling, it is hurting me so much that I will do whatever it is necessary to stay away from it. So you are giving yourself a negative motivation to never go in a direction. And you can be really imaginative about the worst outcome that you can imagine what will happen in your future if you would not try to do everyday work and try to stick to your art. And it is for every person different, but nevertheless there's this negative picture that you can use to achieve motivation every day to stay away from a future that you really fear. So you are using actually pain and fear to drive yourself forward. It is not a nice feeling, I know, but nevertheless it is working, because our human brains are built to stay away from pain. And by just deciding to give yourself every day an impulse of this pain, just by rereading your worst possible future, or by seeing the picture of your worst possible future, you are giving yourself a little bit of pain that will in future avoid the big pain that you can imagine. To make this as an example, I can't go to the details right now because it is a client of mine, and I keep the secrets of every client always. This is very important to me, so I will describe it what has happened. We did it, what I'm talking right now about with this client, and he made not only written down this apocalyptic imagination of his future, and made a painting about it, but he also made actually a film about it. So really he developed scenes, what would be the worst future he could imagine. I will change now the content a little bit, but you can imagine it is the homeless artist perhaps that doesn't have a penny, that is living on the street. Or the other flavor would be that instead of thriving with your art, you have to go into a senseless job that you are hating. And this client of mine really took the time to imagine his own hell in a way and make a movie out of it. So he really took scene by scene with the worst outcome. And this film that he has developed is so painful for him that right now, when he has problems with motivating himself, perhaps for a small task today, to sit down and just make some drawings, or to go to the appointment to get something for his art, like preparing an exhibition and so on, or calling a gallerist, and he's not motivating, he cannot motivate himself to do this. All he has to do is just have a few on, to watch the film he has made, and then just make the decision, okay, when I am not willing to do this, this is my future. I can see it right now on the screen. So when I should compare these two pains with each other, what I have just seen as my worst nightmare in the future, and right now the little bit of pain of calling a gallerist and have just a conversation, what decision I am making. And he's not only always making the decision to do the right thing and to call the gallerist. No, sometimes he's saying, okay, this is the worst future and I'm just accepting it. But the way the human brain is building, the probability of making a different choice, to make this small necessary step today, even if it's a little bit painful, is more probable than going for a long time towards a really dark future. And in this way, you can actually use your worst nightmares, your worst projections of your future to motivate yourself. It is one tool that I have described to you today. Just you can try them, because this is the great advantage of art. You can use everything that is happening to you. Other paths of career have the disadvantage that most likely it is all about positive energy, and in art we have the advantage that we can use actually everything, because there is no such thing like light and darkness and so on. There's always energy, and energy can be used always for creation. And it is just a point of view if we decide to name this this outcome positive or negative. It is a creation nevertheless, and there have been so many outstanding artists who understood how to use this darkness. So the tools that I today described, there are just a few tools. There are even more tools. So when you are in this phase of negative thinking, don't give up. This is not a reason to give up on the future of your art, because there have been artists before you, and you can tell even to yourself, artists that have been worse off and they just made it. They just learned to use also their darkness, and this is all. Nevertheless, no matter if you are on the light side or of the dark side of art, I hope you will use this day for art, because again, it is a great, every day is a great day for art, and just do it. It's no matter what is happening, just stick to your art, believe in yourself, believe in your art, and you will find a way. Just give your creativity a chance. There's always a path, always a possibility, even if it is not the path you are hoping for, that you are imagining. Perhaps you are chosen to go a different path, and just accepting it and start to going it will be your best choice. So I hope to see you in the next video. I hope tomorrow or today after tomorrow. And if you like the ideas that I'm providing, just go to the website www.future.louvre.academy, and there you will find hopefully what I am talking about, that is a little bit chopped up and scattered, collected into something that will probably provide you more value than just me talking here. So enjoy for a moment this outstanding view of the jungle, and just look how interesting the shadows actually are making this view. This view would be nothing without the shadows. So art is always needing light and shadows, and you can only make the decision between focusing as an artist on the light, on the shadows, but nevertheless there's always a balance in nature between those tools, and just admire it and be grateful. And I am grateful that I have the possibility to participate in something that is so outstanding like the beauty of nature. So see you soon. Bye bye.